can really protect its population from nuclear attack, that threatens the U.S. If Russia can really protect its population from nuclear attack, that threatens the U.S. If Russia can really protect its population from nuclear attack.
Welcome, comrades, to your one and only state-mandated music podcast. I'm your host, Charlie, and I'm here with my co-host, Tom.
Oh, hello, comrade.
I don't think we have to do the Russian accent, but today we will be talking about Whole Lotta Red, which was dropped on Christmas Day by the one and only Kim Vamp himself, Playboi Carti.
A gift for all of us.
Exactly. Well, whether it was a Christmas present or whether it was the equivalent of getting coal in your stocking, we will talk about. So,
Hotly debated.
It's very, very hotly debated, but our opinions are fact, and if you disagree, the secret police will come to take your family away. So you have no
There's
choice.
room in the gulag.
Yeah, you have no choice but to agree with us. Tom, would you like to start us off by...
So I thought. Now I didn't have particularly high hopes because I thought that Dial-It was a bit of a flash in the pan. Because I listened to his self-titled mixtape before, and I thought apart from a few songs, it wasn't very great. But I gotta say, I really enjoyed this album.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a production and aesthetic change that I didn't particularly enjoy as much as Dial-It, but I still thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
Stan, you're not as much of a fan.
no, I'm not. I will admit, just straight off the bat, that trap isn't really my thing, so I don't feel like I'm a good enough judge on whether it's a good album or not. I'm just judging off of whether I enjoyed it, so which I feel like is a fair metric to go, but I can't say whether it's a good trap album or whether it's a good album, as I don't know the trap genre well enough because I'm not really a fan of it anyway. But
The other thing that had me quite apprehensive was the weird satanic merch that he dropped just before the album.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like some of those, but obviously
But would you buy it?
I don't know, not for the price though. But I sent you some photos of the newer merch that he dropped after the album came out, and that is just hot garbage. There's no denying it. So the MS Paint work is very bad.
King Vamp.
Yeah. All right. Should we start going through the tracks on it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Rockstar Made was a very good opener. It had a clear sort of sign that this time around there was going to be, it was a bit more hype, a bit more energy, and the production aesthetics were going to be far more different. As Pierre Bourne only had 2 production credits on this album compared to
Really?
basically doing all of Dial-It.
Yeah, I know Kanye is executive producing this, but I don't know how many of the actual songs that he had his,
I think just the one that he was featured on. He didn't have any production
I
credits.
swear, listening to I think it was the last one. Yeah, the last one, Feel Like Dying. I don't know whether Kanye had a hand in that one as well, because it sounded very Kanye. It had the gospel background. It had the kind of I guess you could say like
The Bon Iver
airy.
sample.
I think it might have. It had kind of like
it
the
was Bon Iver,
hmm.
who Kanye has worked with, so maybe you're on something there.
Yeah, so I feel like he must have produced that one as well, or at least had a hand in it. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a DJ Academics clip on one of the songs. I think it was Control,
on
where he says it was being executive produced by Kanye and the guy from Givenchy or someone from Givenchy.
yeah, it was on Control, the academics intro, which was just 30
You were all,
seconds of 30 seconds of our local basement dwelling goblin DJ Academics talking about Playboi Carti. But yeah, anyway, back to Rockstar Made. The production on it I really liked. I liked the kind of glitchy production which was present on a lot of the albums tracks in this album. So and along with Carti constantly changing like how he was delivering the lines as well.
I
The,
quite liked it when he really strained his voice
yeah, I
on
feel
the
like that
book. That
worked.
was
I feel like that fit the themes of the album, but the one thing I think is that didn't really fit it was when he started using his baby voice later, which I know he premiered the idea of his baby voice on a single that came out before Whole Lotta Red, and I think that's one of the things everyone got excited for, but I feel like it just didn't fit the album.
I know what you mean. It was something like a lot of the best songs on Dialect were baby voice, like Flatbed Freestyle.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think since that album, he's been well. Actually, no, there was this features he did for Solange and Tyler the Creator were both good.
Mm,
But then since then, he's been trying the baby voice too hard on the At Miss song
yeah,
and the Drake feature,
yeah.
and it's
Trying,
just not as not the same. I don't know why.
yeah,
It sounds like
trying,
he's trying to rip off Young Thug.
yeah, trying too hard to make it a thing. That's what I think.
Mm.
Um, but anyway, overall, I think Rockstar Made was a solid starter, in my opinion. But as I
But it
said,
fell off quite quickly.
yeah, I think it went downhill quite quickly from there, in my
Go to
opinion.
the moon.
Go to the Moon, the Go to Da Moon, the Kanye song on this. Uh, I don't know. I felt like Kanye might have phoned it a bit in his feature on this.
I think it's similar to a lot of features he's been doing recently, like on the 6ix9ine album
Yeah,
and um, and the Lil Pump song, where they've been like quite fun, and he's trying to just trying to fit in loads of one-liners rather than doing
yeah,
what he's perhaps best at, maybe like more of a Lil Wayne verse almost.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a decent verse. It was just that the instrumental kept changing, and it was quite jarring for
Hmm.
me at least. It was a bit of a mess, considering
Yeah,
it was consistent when Carti's verse came in.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I thought they'd be a good pairing, and it just, I don't know.
yeah.
I didn't enjoy this one particularly.
I did like the use of the Soul of Bobby 2 sample. I think it was I had to look it up because I'd never actually heard of it, but I like the sample. It was from a Bollywood song actually. It was
No, that makes sense.
that sample that the like click from that song just before it came into, I think it was Kanye's verse. I quite like the use of that, but I feel in general I didn't really like Go to the Moon. Really, I think Rockstar Made
Thought I'd have
was a
had high hopes for a song that was aiming for the moon.
yeah, exactly. They didn't even get out of orbit with this one.
Fell
So
flat on its face.
yeah. Next up we have Stop Breathing.
This one goes for me. This is a banger.
Mm? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ad libs and the cadence they did remind me a little bit of Rico Nasty, which I don't know whether that was an influence he had or not. I doubt it, but you never know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it had one of the better hooks for me as well. I enjoyed this track.
Yeah. It also had an MF Doom reference, which is very
Yes,
suited to what we're going to talk about after this. But
to refer to armed burglary.
yeah, yeah. Um, but I quite liked it. The bass was hard hitting. I feel like it might have been a bit overmixed because I couldn't really hear a lot of the other parts of the beat. It was just the bass was so heavy and so in your face and so put to the front of of the track that it kind of caused everything else to get kind of lost behind it. But apart from that, it was a good bass line. It was a good kind of it's just a good energy song. I think it was quite high
Yeah,
energy
and
and
I
I
think
liked
I'd
it.
say the same about the next track as well.
And
Yeah, I'd go
next
with
we are on to Jump Out the House.
bit of dumb fun. I quite again. I've seen a lot of hate on the internet for this song, but I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't long anyway, so
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. The notes I have on it was just it's cool but a basic song.
yeah,
It's as you said, a bit of dumb fun. Like
it's 20 seconds long.
yeah, exactly. So there's not a huge amount to it. So there's not a huge amount to say on it. But
Just,
anyway,
that's just enough time to jump out the house, really.
exactly, yeah, and then get arrested by the police for not adhering to lockdown procedure. So,
We don't have those in the East.
but yeah, then we have Metamorphosis,
Oh
uh,
my god,
featuring Kid Cudi. Do you have any thoughts
this
on
was my
this?
favorite song. My god,
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
this this was brilliant.
This was the
Got everything.
yeah, this was my favorite song on the album. As I said, even though I don't like the album as a whole, I feel like this is the best song. I really liked the Kid Cudi backing vocals as well.
The hum.
Yeah, the humming backing
Mhm.
vocals that Kid Cudi has. I feel it fit the aesthetic a lot of the album, and I feel like it's quite refreshing in this song after having, what was it, 5 songs beforehand that just has Carti as the backing vocals on it. I feel like it mixes it up a bit, and it kind of makes it stand out a lot. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Cuddy's vocals work really well on the beat. I actually wrote down that I think they work better than Carti's does. I think Cuddy's vocals and Cuddy's cadence
And I
works.
think the most interesting thing about this song is that it's quite confident. There's a lot of braggadocio in both their verses, but it's just crazy that there's a 5+ minute long song by Playboi Carti that's
Yeah,
good and it doesn't feel super long. But like you said, the instrumental's one of the best ones. The incorporation of the hum was really clever,
yeah, I love that. I think that was one of my favorite things of it from
and
this song.
it was only 2 verses. Carti's was pretty good.
Yeah,
He was feeling himself,
yeah.
and
So
then Cuddy killed it as he often does.
yeah, exactly. He
Just a recipe for success, in my opinion.
Cuddy killing it. He has a good feature record. I think Kid Cudi. So
Definitely.
then after that we have Slayer, which I didn't have a huge amount about this song. Just had some kind of weird baby trap production. Because the thing, I think this is the first song this appears on. The thing that really confused me about this album is that he was going for, as you saw, the vampire thing. He also kind of went a lot for. I think he wanted to paint himself like a rock star, like a punk rock star. You know, you have like Rockstar Made, and you have the take on the Slash album cover.
And all those pictures of him in like really tight jeans
Yeah, yeah.
and
I,
like boots.
I just feel like the song Slayer doesn't really fit that aesthetic at all with its kind of weird baby trap production. Doesn't
Similar
really
to
work.
Benno, isn't it? This song?
Yeah, it doesn't really work. So, and this problem I think comes up for me quite a lot throughout the rest of the track list, which is one of the reasons why I didn't like the album at all. Well,
I
actually,
think there were a
apart from
fair
a couple
amount
of
of
songs.
dubs. This was definitely one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Apart from a couple of the songs, obviously, that I enjoyed, I feel like a lot of them didn't fit the album at all. But anyway, I feel that's all I have to say on Slayer. And then we are on to the next track, which is No Sleep, which I liked the glitchy beat and the glitchy instrumentals, which appears quite a lot throughout this album. And I like myself some very glitchy production, but I feel that they kind of use the same kind of methods, I guess. They use the same kind of way of making it sound they don't fully use the idea of having a glitchy production as much as they could have. It's just kind of always quite samey in the way that they executed it, I think.
But I didn't really have much to say on this track either.
Yeah.
The next one I've notes on is New Tank.
Yeah, that is the next song. So,
Ah, well there you go.
mm,
This was like one of the. This is what I think one of the air quotes singles because he didn't have a normal rollout for this album.
mm,
He just basically went on Instagram Live and played this song, or a bit of it anyway. And
yeah.
then he played a couple other ones, Sky and Over, and think of any others.
Yeah, because
None of the leaks went on here, but this was his version of singles. He just played them to get people hyped.
I remember this Instagram live stream actually because it had the infamous line they thought I was gay on it that
He says
everyone.
it with such conviction.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone's just like, "Oh, you thought? like everyone was just persuaded that he was after. But I mean, he was with Iggy Azalea at that point, so I don't know why. But either way, I didn't have a huge amount to say on New
Really,
Tank.
that's another. Well, songs like this and Over made me think this was going to be a banger fest, but then I saw it was 24 songs.
Mm.
That had me down a little bit. I can't lie.
Yeah, that there were going to be so many duds just to get a few really good tracks from your
But I really
perspective.
enjoyed this. Yeah, this is another of the major highlights for me that I'll definitely be coming back to.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
But I was gay.
Then next I've got Teen X, which has the Future
The
feature,
awful first.
the king of codeine
Oh
Future
yeah,
on.
he didn't Carti say it, and then he. Oh no, he ad-libbed something Carti said with Cody.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he said he just had it in the background, which I found quite funny. I don't really like Future. I've not really liked any of his songs, but um, yeah, I just said I'm not really a fan of him and his style, so obviously I didn't like the verse that he put on Teen
It wasn't
X.
very him. I think that was the weirdest thing about it. He was trying to be Carti.
Really?
Like he made his voice a lot higher than it normally is.
Hmm.
It was weird. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought Carti was alright on the song though.
Hmm. Yeah, I said I thought as well that it had a bit of a strange use of the baby voice on there again, but I feel most of the usage of the baby voice in
Yeah,
this
he's not
album
been nailing it recently.
didn't fit. Yeah, it just felt strange and it didn't fit what he had previously done. The next song is Meh, which perfectly sums up what I thought about it as well. The keyboard for it was a bit catchy, um, but at this
They
point,
thought Atme was bad.
yeah, but at this point, I just, I don't know, I just felt like Carti at this point had just kind of been doing the same thing on almost every song. He would have the same kind of flow to the verses, then he would take a single line that he would repeat maybe 3 to 4 to 5 times and then go back into another verse. And by this point, it had just kind of gotten a little stale, and I felt like he wasn't doing enough to spice it up and change up the songs.
Yeah, there was an element of that on a lot of these songs, but I thought the album had a bit of a second wind with the Vamp anthem.
Yeah, yeah, which
And I
is
thought
the
that, and
next
then
one.
it died down again a little bit, and then it came good in the end. That was my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I
But it could have quite easily been like 15 songs,
hmm.
if not less, and I don't think anyone would have complained.
No, yeah, it's a very bloated project. There's a lot of filler that could have been taken out, a lot of fat that could have been trimmed down. Um, but onto the subject of the Vamp anthem, I
Vamp anthem.
liked the use of the organ,
It was
or
like,
it was a
is that
keyboard.
the Dracula thing, the bit at the beginning? Du-du-du-du-du-du.
I think so. But
Then they
the
split, and then it was like a weird pause for about a second, and then
yeah,
it turned into
yeah,
like a trap flip, and it was genius.
yeah, and I think Vamp Anthem had a quite an abrupt ending. I found that ending
Sometimes I
quite
little bitch, you
disjointed.
better be ready.
But yeah, and then the onto the next song after this, which is New Neon, which I thought the production had a dramatic change, turning to kind of more of a neon futuristic beat. Like it
Mm.
became quite synth heavy and quite neon-y. I think it's the best way I could describe it, which really doesn't fit the album. I felt like it was a very bad switch because this is meant to be some kind of gothic, kind of dark vampire punk album. I think was the best way to describe what he was probably going for. So I feel like the neon kind of drenched beat that he went into in New Neon, it didn't work at all, in my opinion. I didn't mind the song. I didn't think it was bad particularly, but I think it was badly placed. It shouldn't have been in this album, I think. And I feel that kind of
Definitely not after the the Vamp Anthem, which was
No, no.
a tone changer, and then it just
Yeah,
went into a weird. I again, like you say, I like this song. I thought it was one of the better ones, and it was probably one where the baby voice was used better,
but it just didn't
and it was
fit the
quite a
album.
dreamy song. It was, yeah, but then it went back to type not long after this song.
No, yeah. It was for two songs. I think it was this and Control. It was very the production changed quite dramatically, and it didn't fit with the
Control's
rest of them.
production was ass. I did not like that song.
No, no. I
And it
I
was, I thought that having the academics bit at the beginning was a bit of a humble brag, really, because it ended with him saying, "From what I'm hearing, expect a classic." Like, why would you put that in the middle of your album?
yeah,
If
just
you're gonna
30
have it on there,
seconds.
have it at the start.
30 seconds of DJ Academic sucking Carti's dick just doesn't really work at all. Plus, I don't know why, and I don't know whether this is just me. I don't know whether you got this vibe too, but it sounded a bit like a Christmas song. The vibe I got from Control when I was listening to it, I don't know what
Okay.
it was. There wasn't something that I could like properly grip onto, like any actual reason for it, but it just sounded Christmassy for some reason. And the lyrics on it do not work at all with the whole Iggy situation with Carti. Um,
What sort of things was he saying?
the lyrics that I wrote down it was just all really lovey-dovey stuff, you know, like the kind of old "since I met you" yada yada, all of that stuff, and it's not.
Maybe it was for Uzi and the PlayStation and stuff.
Maybe or for his side hoe, I can't remember what her name was, but I felt like the lyrics were a bit strange with the situation that's come out since his album drop. But yeah, Control definitely was a big old dud. It was a bad song. Didn't fit the album at all. Strange lyrics, weird, as you said, humble brag at the beginning. And that humble brag took up 30 seconds of the song.
Way too long.
Like
Way too
yeah,
long.
I was checking how long it took on. That's way, like, maybe 10 seconds of a talking intro. That could work, but 30 seconds is far too much, especially just for a guy sitting in his mum's basement basically sucking your dick on stream. I just don't think
I mean,
it.
that is one of his favorite hobbies.
Yeah, that's all
Sucking
DJ
rap dick.
Academics does, but he's now kind of been a bit ostracized because he decided to side with 6ix9ine. So, but anyway, then next we have Punk Monk, which for me was a bit of a return to style after the previous two song kind of deviation from the kind of more dark aesthetic of the rest of the album. I think that the beat was a bit strangely mixed. A lot of the kind of instrumental tracks on it, like the drum beat and the 808s, were quite distorted in kind of a strange way. I think they were moving pitches. I felt that could have been a bit disorientating, but I feel like it might have worked a bit if they'd put a bit more effort into making the beat kind of stand out a bit more.
I didn't have much to say on that one
Yeah.
either.
Okay.
So I was
Um.
just looking at the production credits.
Yeah. Then after that there is On That Time, which in my opinion it had my favorite instrumental on the track. The harsh glitchy keyboards I think really fit in with the kind of dark punk aesthetic that he was going for throughout the album. Um, there was
Yeah,
nothing.
I mean, this was one of the bigger bangers for me.
Yeah, yeah. There was
This is the
nothing.
sort of thing I was just hoping if you could you could cut a lot of the songs out, and you could have just had songs like New Tank and then this,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
like Sky and Over that we'll get onto in a minute. That would have worked a lot better than just the random like the Punk Monk transition control.
yeah. It's very cluttered. I think it's very all over the place. But overall, I quite liked On That Time. There wasn't anything particularly stand out about Carti's vocals as similar to the rest of the album. I found his vocal style had become quite samey by this point, but the beat and the fact that his vocals fit in with the beat far better than they did on any of the other songs makes this one stand out in my opinion. And this was one of the few songs that I really liked.
I just
So
didn't like the hook on this song where he was talking about riding with a Draco and then spells Draco and then says
yeah,
it again and then spells it again. Maybe it's for his son. I don't know. To make it a
maybe.
bit more kid
But
friendly. Let's get the spelling
speaking about
bits
him,
going.
spelling words, that brings us on perfectly to the next song, which is King Vamp, which the whole hook
Yeah.
of him doing that is him spelling King Vamp and saying that's me.
The
So
educational section of the album.
exactly, it's his version of Sesame Street, kind of spelling lessons for his son, I guess, that he never sees. So, um, so
Funny
yeah,
enough, there was a picture of them together, and his son had the biggest tired eye bags you'll ever see.
yeah, I saw that. He just doesn't let him sleep. But
We gotta play PlayStation.
yeah, he's staying up in his room playing Warzone, and his son's
Poor Gilbert.
oh, poor kid. But yeah, King Vamp was kind of samey as a lot of the other songs, and I found his vocals quite grating on this song.
I have to agree. I thought
Yeah,
it was quite annoying.
like I didn't mind his vocals up to this point, but I felt on this song they were particularly kind of a bit grating and a bit annoying. So this was another dud. I think this was another one that could have
And it
been
was just
taken out.
unnecessary. Like if you're just spelling out King Vamp and then saying that's you and then that's it.
Yeah,
Like, what's
yeah.
the point of this song?
But I felt like this one could have been taken out quite easily. Then the next song is Place.
Pierre Bourne, you finally got here. Track
Yeah,
80,
finally.
you're finally here.
Right near the end of the album, like 2/3 of the way through,
I mean,
Pierre
people like
Bourne
you have had
finally
enough.
turns up. Um, I found there was a bit of a really weird pause, like at the beginning of the beat, that went on for way too long, I think. I thought my headphones were broken when I first heard this song.
And that's a
Cause
horrible feeling.
yeah, because it just pauses for like a good couple of bars, and you're just kind of sitting there being like, wait, is the song over? Was that it? Was it just like a couple second clip? And then comes into the actual song. And I found,
Vintage Pierre.
yeah, I found as
Don't know if it
well.
could come. Sounds like probably the only song that would have fitted on Dial It.
Yeah, and I think along with the big production change, there was also quite a big change in his vocals. He went for a lot of a more smoother melodic.
Well, my brother told me this was a leak, and I think it was the only leak that got on the album. So I think this song's a lot older than some of the other material on there,
Yeah. I
and it
haven't.
does sound like it.
I was gonna say I don't listen to Dialect regularly. I've listened to it maybe a couple of times, but this sounds like something that would fit on there. It sounds like
It's like the synths and everything is
yeah,
so what they were doing on that
sounds like
album.
Dialect era Carti. So, and then after this, we have got Sky, which is a very similar song to Place. I feel it kind of fits in. This another Pierre Bourne one.
No, it wasn't actually, but I think
Really,
this is probably the best run of tracks on the
really,
whole
yeah.
project.
Um,
Like Place till the End, I think were all highlights for me.
mm, okay.
I loved Sky as well. It had I think like you was saying earlier about some of the more glitchy like the weird keyboards
Mm,
and like the bounce on there. I think the next two tracks were probably where that was used the best in my opinion.
yeah, I was about to say that. Um, I feel like they kind of used it a bit better in the last
This
two.
was the most druggy song on there as well.
Yeah. But what I thought about this is that the one thing that I noticed is that I think the melody that goes over the top of the instrumental on this song, it sounds like they remixed Rockstar Made or used like the same chord progression. I don't know
Mm.
whether that was just me that noticed that, but it just sounded like a
Just
remix.
on a different keyboard.
Yeah, or it might have been a couple of octaves up, and they put a few different effects on it, but it sounded like the same chord progression that they used in Rockstar Made. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't mind Sky. I felt that the smoother vocals on it fit in a lot better with the instrumental, and apart from the thing that I noticed about Rockstar Made, there wasn't a huge amount for me to say about that. Do you want to add anything?
Wanting blunts rolled for you is fair enough.
Yeah. All right, then the next song after that is Over.
Breakup song.
Yeah, yeah.
And a bit of an anti-ho anthem as well. Anyone needed those. I think if there wasn't much about his life, I think the next no, it might have been Control actually, where he was talking about how he could have signed all these people. In
Mm,
my opinion, aren't very good anyway, but he might have
super.
made some money.
But he
But
probably
on this one,
probably
he
didn't.
was a bit like um, yeah, sort of his maybe his Digger Iggy. Like the shit I feel like it did when we started. But this instrumental again, it's weird. It does almost sound like a child's keyboard,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it sounds really good at the same time.
I
I love it.
I can see I think it sounded pretty good, but yet again, that I said earlier on that it would come into later is that I really don't think that that kind of child's keyboard instrumental works with the album as a whole.
We basically got two album themes just
Yeah,
mixed together
yeah,
randomly.
exactly. And it's not even because some albums have that, but they'll have a clear switching point. Whereas in
Mm.
this, they have some of the dark songs mixed in the half that's kind of because I think the later half is more dominated by the kind of older light keyboard production kind of die-lit style songs, but some of those songs are in the first half that's dominated by the darker kind of more vampiric, I guess, instrumentals, and then there are a few of those songs in the last half as well. If he had had all of the vampiric songs, all of the dark songs, maybe in the first or last half, and then separated the two ones out, and then had maybe a couple songs showing a transition between the two, I think that could have worked a lot better rather than just jumbling them all together in like some weird mix where you're going from one theme and one style suddenly to another without any kind of transition, and then you're back to the one that you started off on, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think when we look at this run of songs, there's only two producers involved, whereas compared to the previous lot, it's tons of different guys.
Yeah,
And I think you could well be on something about these songs just being the ones that didn't leak,
yeah,
the ones that no one hacked from however long ago. Because I think the
exactly.
Cuddy song might be quite new,
Yeah.
because I don't think they linked up till fairly recently.
Hmm.
Of course, had that song named after him.
Yeah, yeah.
That unfortunately did not make it on here, because that'd have been nice.
That bit
I
out.
love you, I
I
hate
love
you.
you, I hate you is the next song.
Pierre again.
Yeah.
The only two tracks.
I did
This one
say
didn't sound like him.
yeah.
It sounded a bit like it was almost like a rock inspired.
It sounded. I think what I thought it sounded like. It sounded like it was inspired by those late to early 2000s like pop punk breakup songs. I
Yeah,
think
maybe.
like a trap version of a breakup song from like the early 2000s. But yeah, it was quite different. The instrumental was quite different. The vocals were mixed in a lot quieter than a lot of the other songs that we had had. Whereas I don't know whether it was there mixed quieter or whether it was just purposefully performed quieter to, I don't know, to match whatever Carti was going for in that track. But do you want to add anything or move on to the next one?
I don't really have anything. The Die For guy was another sort of a weird, rocky one.
Yeah, yeah. I liked the higher energy beat in this, and I feel like it matched the album a bit better. But
This was another song I thought he was borrowing off Rico Nasty a little bit because she had like these really aggressive like metal tracks. I mean, obviously
yeah,
he wasn't aggressive because that's not really his style, but
mm,
again, it sounded a little bit like he was going for that slightly more hype angle.
yeah, yeah. But
It
I
worked a bit, to be fair.
I quite like this
And
song.
a shout out to his friends.
Yeah, I quite like this song, but I feel like, as I said, there was just that sudden change from the songs, like the run of songs like Play Sky over, and I
Well,
think
the
I Love You,
biggest
I Hate You
change of
now.
the lot was the closer.
Yeah, yeah. We got one just before that, which is not playing. Although I don't have a huge amount to say about this.
Now let's go to Feel Like
I
Dying.
could just go straight on to Feel Like Dying.
It's had a Bon Iver sample that did I did not expect
Mm. I
from his song Kimye that came out last year. Oh no, year before now, because we're in
Yeah,
2021.
this was the one that I thought Kanye had a big hand in, cause
Yeah, I'm just checking. He actually didn't. There's a lot of names though, but I think because a lot of
really,
people wrote
it
the IMI
sounded
track.
so much like a song that Kanye would make with the choir gospel samples and the kind of flowery production and everything. But maybe it was just inspired by him, and it was a group of
Yeah, more
people
than
that,
likely.
yeah, the other group of producers working up with him. But I felt like this was a nice outro song, but for a different album. That's my impression of this. This would have made a great outro song on a different album. I still think this one just does not fit the album at all and the kind of things that
I
he
kind of
was
thought
going
it
for.
did, to be honest. It worked quite well as a closer, in my opinion. Compared to like his other clothes, like Top on Dial It was one of the worst songs.
Mm,
They just shoved it at the end.
yeah.
And whereas on this album, it was quite well thought out, and it was clearly thought. It probably the only track that were thought about on the whole
N-
album. The placement where the opener and the closer they both worked in their role quite well.
No,
Whether that was an accident or not, I don't know.
yeah, I agree with you that it's a very well thought out song and it's a good closer, but I just don't think it fits with the album. I feel like it would have worked a lot better on a
That's
different
fair.
album. So, but still, yeah,
And the
within
Bon
saying
Iver
that,
sample though was,
mm,
I just don't, I still don't understand it now. What possessed him to do it? Maybe it was some Kanye
that's
influence.
what I think. Yeah. So maybe he may not have actually produced it himself, but I feel like people were like, maybe after they did the song with Kanye on it that he worked with them on, maybe they were like, well, we feel like we gotta do some kind of song tribute to Kanye after he's blessed us with his presence.
I'm
But
sure he co-signed this song when he was
yeah.
executively producing it.
But yeah, overall, I think it's a good closing song, but it was just put in the wrong album, personally. So yeah, do you have anything more to say on that, or should we give our like final
I think
thoughts?
let's wrap this up.
All right. So my kind of overview of it is a lot of the songs had kind of quite samey production, especially a lot of the filler songs that we talked about that we felt that could be cut out. They didn't have anything that made them stand out. I think songs like Benno um, and Control and New
I mean, you
Neon.
could be reeling quite a few off here.
Yeah, I would be reeling quite a few off, but those are just ones that come to the top of my head that I felt like the production on them was actually no, not Neon Scratch that. That was the one where it changed quite drastically. But the ones like Control, Benno, and stuff like that, there wasn't really anything they were adding to the album. I felt like, and they didn't need to be on there. They were just kind of filler. Um, I felt that a lot of the songs on it didn't fit the aesthetic that the album was going for, didn't fit the themes of it. Like as I said, the drastic change around New Neon and Control, and then later on in the album, the kind of weird tonal shifts that go on in the later half. Um, but I feel like overall there were some good features, some good beats on there, so I feel like it was an okay album. It wasn't anything. As I said, I wouldn't listen to trap normally, but
Would
I
you not even listen to this normally?
no, I wouldn't listen to this normally, no. But I I I know. I just feel it was a mess. That was the best way to describe it. It was just a mix up, an eclectic mix up of all kinds of stuff that hadn't been properly thought out and had just kind of been chucked on there because he was rushed into probably releasing Whole Lot of Red by Mario Judah. But
Oh, we've gone through this whole thing without even mentioning that.
mentioning the the man
But
himself,
yeah,
Mario Judah.
I mean, I've kind of lost interest in it since he jumped on live and was ranting about how he
Yeah,
wasn't happy with the album.
yeah,
And it's like, come on, man, you basically forced him to drop this.
yeah. You pressured
You
him into it.
you got what you wanted by it coming out.
Yeah,
You don't get to then say, no, we want more.
and he got a ton of clout from it too.
And now it's time for the news. First up, Nicki Minaj has lost a lawsuit, or rather, Tracy Chapman has won a lawsuit
Against
of
Nicki Minaj. Yeah.
against Nicki Minaj for her song "Sorry" versus the Tracy Chapman "Baby Can I Hold You." And when you look at it, it's listen to both tracks as we did. It's pretty clear why that was a successful lawsuit.
Yeah, like as I mentioned to you earlier, I don't support a lot of music industry copyright lawsuits as the kind of art of making music can you could change so many little things that will change the context of the song and the actual like chord progression, the actual like
I still
instrumental
can't believe
itself.
that Ed Sheeran lost one against TLC that little while ago.
Mm.
That was ridiculous.
That was a bit bullshit. But on saying that, this one is one of the very few ones that I can say, yeah, she completely ripped off her song without crediting her, giving her any kind of royalties or anything.
I don't
So
think you have to give if you interpolate something, which is what she did here. I don't know what the rules are. But I'm pretty sure you can, as long as you credit them, it's okay.
yeah, I think so. But she did this without credit. I think because you can do covers of songs if you give people credit for it. And you can use parts of people's songs to make your own music if you give them certain royalties, depending on what you agree with them. But this was a complete illicit rip-off, basically, of her song. And I don't think there's much more to say about it there. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
Tracy Chapman deserved to win that money, and shame on Nicki Minaj for ripping off another artist's song completely without
spend it
crediting them.
wisely, Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, she's probably got enough money as it is, because, like as I said, when we looked on it, it had like 100 million, 150 million listens on Spotify. Like her most popular song has like 500 million. So, but you know, money well deserved. All right, and our next story is Kim and Kanye. The
Kimye is no more.
yeah, Kimye is over, fellas. So Kim is single again. For anyone that wants it, you know, I don't know who would, but
I don't think we need to advertise for her. That's all
no,
I'll
we
say.
don't. But yeah, and the rumors surrounding this are fucking insane, to say the least. It's just absolutely crazy. Do
I'm
you?
just surprised he's not outright come out and denied them,
No,
which makes you
yeah,
think maybe there's something to it.
yeah. Do you want to elaborate on the rumors, Tom?
Well, there are two schools of thought. In the red tab I read, apparently Kim's fed up of his shit, like all the crazy stuff, like trying to be on the board in um, Gap and Adidas, and I think he is something to do with
I
Gap
think he
these
might
days.
be. I think he might be on the board of
And
Gap.
moreover, running for president again. I think she tried to talk him out of it last time. He did it, didn't work out very well. She voted Biden, and then and now he's dead set on doing it again.
Yeah.
And also that um, he's fed up of the Kardashian lifestyle and apparently hates them all, which I can thoroughly understand.
So can I. Um, I don't know
But
how
there
he's
is an
standing them for this long.
alternative, probably the one that's been spoken about a little more. He's apparently uh, either cheated on her or has since got with, since filing for divorce or deciding to do so. That he's been going out with beauty YouTuber Jeffree Star.
Yeah. I think.
The closest thing we have to a human General Grievous.
Yeah, exactly. Or the closest thing we have to a genderless alien that has come down from some unknown homeworld to teach us all how to do makeup and yeah. But yeah, so it turns out that Kanye might have been hooking up with the internet's biggest supervillain, Jeffree Star. And the evidence for this is there's not a huge amount. It's more
I haven't seen
circumstantial.
any.
It's more circumstantial, the evidence I've seen for this. There was some song lyrics, supposedly, that Jeffree Star had in an old song from, I don't know exactly when it was from, but I think it was at least a couple of years ago, where he referenced going down on Kanye West. And another one that people keep bringing up, which I don't think has any kind of credit at all, is that Jeffree Star has a ranch in Wyoming, and so does Kanye West. Except I'm pretty sure Jeffree Star has a ranch in Wyoming because Biden won the election, and the tax increases in LA will mean that he'll get screwed around with taxes, so he moved to Wyoming to avoid taxation. But yeah, that's the only other bit of circumstantial evidence that suggests that this might be true. But there are some other people coming out and saying that this isn't the first time that Kanye has hooked up with another. Well, I don't know whether we can count Jeffree Star as a man, but that he has hooked up with other men in the past, which will be quite interesting if that was true. But the main pointer of the story, the thing we know 100% for, 100% is that Kimye is now dead and buried.
It's a sad day for celebrity couples. Also, I'm seeing that Jeffree Star is denying this, but
Mm,
not denying that he's been with other rappers,
maybe, yeah, but
not Kanye.
we'll have to see how this plays out.
Bad news now. Dr. Dre
Mm,
has suffered a brain aneurysm. He's currently in hospital. He's doing all right apparently, but
yeah,
days after losing one legend, we then nearly lost another. I mean, that'd have been hard to take.
yeah,
Dr. Dre, of course, still apparently producing or making like 50 beats a day.
mm,
I
working
don't
hard.
fully believe that because he's quite rich.
Yeah, or maybe he just
And I
does it
can't
for
remember the
fun.
last time I saw a Dr. Dre production credit on an album. It's probably the Anderson .Paak album, actually.
Yeah, he does a lot with
Rockstar.
Anderson .Paak. I know that because Anderson .Paak is like his new protege. But but either way, we are glad that Dr. Dre is doing well because it would be bad to lose someone like him who has been so crucial and influential to the not just the rap scene but the music scene as a whole. Someone
Yeah, and
who's
I mean,
had
a
so much.
doctor to succumb to
Mm,
medical problems would be far from ideal.
yeah, exactly. Especially when he has so many years ahead of him where he could still influence and do great things for music as a whole.
Yeah, I mean,
But
he did that Mary J. Blige song and
mm,
the Gwen Stefani ones as well.
yeah,
He's busy. He's got many a classic under his belt.
exactly, yeah. And if we were to lose him now, that means that we would miss out on potentially tons more classic songs and albums that he would have a hand in making. But on to our next one is that we have officially lost MF Doom, a British slash American legendary MC from the underground scene. MF Doom, or also known as Daniel Dumoulin, died.
Victor King Ghidra.
Yeah, died on 31st of October 2020.
Halloween.
Yeah, but as he is so notorious about keeping his private life separate from his art, it allowed his family to have time to grieve before they wanted to bring the news into the public.
Yeah, I think that's a luxury that not many artist families get to sort of mourn the death for a bit before putting it out because he's probably more detached from his music than anyone.
Yeah,
Maybe apart from other people that really protect their aliases like Daft Punk.
yeah, and there was something that I think I watched Sean C's video on it. Something that he said that I can kind of relate to in that he doesn't really feel dead because the man himself, Daniel Dumoulin, was so separate from the entity that was MF Doom, that it you don't really feel it as much as you would feel a death like Mac Miller or Pop Smoke or Lil Peep and other rappers that we've lost, or Juice World. But you still feel sad because you know that with Daniel Dumile gone, there isn't gonna be any more MF Doom classics, and they were
No, we don't know
classics.
what's in the vaults.
We don't know what's in the vaults, but it at least means that there will be no new ones that he is making and producing and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought it would be a nice way to end this episode where me and you can go over some of our favorite MF Doom songs.
I mean, what's
And
crazy is that Bad Bad Not Good dropped a song with him on the 18th of December. But it was
yeah,
posthumous and no one even knew.
yeah, that is crazy that he dropped a song when he was already dead and no one else knew. But anyway, I think that it would be nice for us to just have a
And
little,
fitting.
yeah, nice and fitting for us just to mention some of our favorite Doom songs and maybe a reason or two of why we like them so much. So, do you want to start us off, Tom?
Okay, I think if we're talking the ultimate Doom projects, for me, you've got to look at Vaudeville Villain, Mad Villainy,
Mm.
and Food as your sort of starter projects. If you've not heard him before,
Yeah,
those are probably his three best, in my opinion, at least. But he goes by so many different aliases. It's quite hard to
pin him
keep
down.
track on a lot of his
Yeah,
stuff because the
but
Vaudeville Villain was by Victor Vaughan. He also had It Is Done, which was by just Doom. Then there was JJ Doom, Nerubian Doom,
yeah,
West Side Doom,
he had
King Ghidorah.
he had so many different characters that were all producing their own music. It's kind of hard to keep track, but
I think the amazing thing is that he dropped like five out of his best albums and some of the best ever hip hop albums in the spell of like 2 years.
yeah, he did. That was Food. I think it was maybe 4 years because he dropped
Vaudeville
Doomsday,
Villain.
I think, in 1999, and then there was
I wasn't
Food
including that one in.
and Mad Villain. I like Doomsday, but
Oh
uh
yeah, I do as well. But it was there was this particular run. I'll get it up. One sec. That he had that was incredible, and they were all over such a short, like couple of months.
yeah, yeah, but so yeah, if you want to start listening to MF Doom, the quintessential albums are um Mad Villainy, Food, and what was the other one you said? Sorry, wait, I'll cut this
Vaudeville
bit out.
Villain.
All right, I'm gonna say that again and cut that bit out. So yeah, the first albums that his most legendary quintessential Doom albums are Vaudeville Villain, Mad Doom. Oh fuck, I fucked that up. Vaudeville Villain, Mad Villainy, Food. All right, try again. So, the most quintessential Doom albums are Mad Villainy, Vaudeville Villain, and Food. But speaking of his albums, I would like to go through what I believe are some of my favourite Doom songs and maybe see what your favourite songs were as well, Tom, so we can give people an idea of the kind of best tracks to check out if you're only just hearing about MF Doom and you only just found out about him after his death.
TikTokers dancing to his songs.
Yeah, if you've only just heard him on TikTok for some reason. But one of my favourite songs I'd like to start off with is, I think, his most popular Spotify song, which is Rap Snitch Niches. I think that's how you pronounce it, but his song with Mr. Fantastic off of Food. It's got an amazing groovy guitar riff with some very funny and catchy and quotable moments, including a very, very catchy chorus that by Mr. Fantastic that's been stuck in my head, I think, probably from around the time since his death was announced on the 31st of December, because I've just been listening to Doom since then, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
Do you want to give one of your favourites?
I think if we're going on in food, the opener "Beef Rap" is probably the most infamous song
Mm.
and one of the best for sure. Um, but I really like. Oh, yeah, let's go with "Beef Rap" because the final verse is so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them are, to be honest. Just that album where he makes
He has
all the food references, like
yeah.
cookies, where the whole thing is like plays on cookies. That Conquesto, the one with this fantastic, where he's basically rapping like he's presenting a cooking show.
Yeah, yeah.
Quite something. He's just such a clever rapper.
He has so many ways of being able to make his verses have double meanings, which is what I found so phenomenal about Doom's music. Is he was able to rap in a way that there was a kind of surface level, almost like theme or story to it, but it was about something completely different.
One Beer, that's my favorite song
I
on
was
the
about to
album.
say, yeah, like One Beer was an amazing song as well off of Food, and another one that I feel needs to be mentioned is Potholders as well, featuring Count Bass D. That was a good Doom classic off Food.
And it was
Um,
nice that on the songs that he doesn't rap on this album, the instrumentals, he let Joey Badass use them on his
yeah,
1999 project.
wow, that's what seemed as well something that I saw that was, or I realized looking through Doom's catalog is that a lot of rappers they will kind of hype up tons of stuff that they like people that they work with, or they'll take forever. The fans will be like crying out saying, oh, we really want an album from these two people, and they'll put it off and they won't really. Whereas Doom just kind of, he just went around and did it. He didn't really like hype up that he was working with someone. He just kind of got in the studio with them and did it. um which, talking about that, I would like to talk about an album that I love personally, which is Czarface meets Metalface, which is an entire album of MF Doom working with Czarface, which is a group that I love as well on their own, which has some really, really good songs on it, like Phantoms, which has Open Mike Eagle on it. He has a great and entertaining verse as well on that. Bomb Throne as well by the two musical forces, which is just an amazing high energy boom bap banger. Um, and yeah, and then obviously onto probably one of the most quintessential Doom albums, Mad Villainy. Has some absolute classics on there, like All Caps, Accordion as well, which was one of my favorites. What were your favorite songs from Mad
I
Villainy?
love every song on this album.
Yeah,
I
I
think
know.
instrumentally, my favorite might be the Bistro, which is only a little like interlude.
Yeah, I
But, you
think
know,
one of my favorites.
Caps, Curls,
I loved Raid as well. Raid was a really good
yes,
one that sticks out.
and the one with Quasimodo. What was it called? America's Most Blunted.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've just been. You're just able to listen to Mad Villainy from beginning to end, just banger after banger, good song after good song. There isn't really anything on there that I can point at and go, yeah, that one could have kind of been cut out. Like, but
Hmm.
those ones were the ones that
The
I
thing
feel
that
are my
gets
favorite.
me though is that
Mm.
one of Madlib's voices on that verse sounds so much like Earl Sweatshirt. It's almost
Yeah.
uncomfortable because it keeps on cutting in and out of like the Quasimodo voice and then like
Yeah.
his speaking voice.
Yeah.
It's just strange. But yeah, I think there's not a bad song on this album, and I
Yeah.
don't think there are many bad Doom verses you can
Yeah.
find.
I feel like he's just able to do these incredibly lyrical verses just so effortlessly. You can tell he's the kind of person who's just able to to come up with these things
Well, he's come up
almost.
with a whole like a persona and a whole universe for himself.
Yeah, exactly, without even trying. And well, obviously he probably tried a lot to get the universe and the character kind of honed down, but I think once he had that, and I think this is probably why he had such a good run in the early 2000s. Once he had that down, once he laid the groundwork in the late 80s, going into 90s, once he had the groundwork went down, he was able to just so effortlessly make these phenomenal albums with phenomenal verses on them. And yeah, one last song I would like to mention, which talking about phenomenal verses, which is Rhymes Like Dimes, which is one of my favorite.
This is the one I've seen
songs.
people dancing to on TikToks the most.
Yeah, I know. I feel a bit weird saying that that's one of my favorites with it being a TikTok dance, but
It's still a great song.
it's a great song. I just love that the way that he's able to make such insane rhyme schemes, and I think they're probably best on display in that song because the entire song is specifically about him making rhymes and making it really easy, and doing all of these crazy rhyme schemes.
Doesn't he say like the same quite long verse 2 or 3 times in a row?
Yeah. That's like the chorus basically. He has a chorus to it that rhymes as well, really well. But yeah,
I think the one I'd like to shout out to close off for me is the song "Can I Watch" from Vaudeville Villain,
yeah,
which is a really interesting song because it's sort of like, oh, I'm going on a date with my cousin's friend's friend,
It's
and they
third
start
wheeling.
off all romantic. So we feel like we're third wheeling, hearing what they're saying,
Yeah.
and then at the end he fucks it up by saying he wants to suck on her titties and calls her a hoe. Because basically he was getting all upset that he wasn't getting any play, even though
Yeah.
he paid for her taxi, something else, and a movie,
God damn it! Just give Doom some
and
coochie.
and then
But
after that she was like, "I'd rather masturbate than fuck with Vic Vaughan," and then he just comes in saying, "Can I watch?" So I think it even goes even on like a song which was essentially a date. He has the villainous trait; it's always there,
yeah,
and you always get these clips from like cartoons of
which is
the
one
Doctor
thing that
Doom.
I think sets him apart so much from other kind of rappers. Maybe apart from Czarface, I feel like Czarface is the only other group that does this successfully. It's putting in comic book and nerdy comic book references, but still managing to put it in a song that just sounds so hard as well.
You've got I mean, he had a lot of strings to his bow. His flow was so effortless, so smooth, so slick, but it was also like what he was saying was so smart and
Yeah.
clever.
And as I mentioned earlier, with the double meanings, he was able to make his verses mean one thing, but then when you look into it, it meant something completely different as well. And he was able to create these kind of dual storylines, along with similarly to Food, where he was able to weave these narratives while fitting in completely with the theme of food, even though you're like, well, yeah, that's about something completely different, even though he's fitting it in with the whole food theme of the whole album, which I think is just completely phenomenal. And I feel like maybe completely unmatched as well in the way he was able to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's all I want to say.
It really ripped Doom.
Yeah, R.I.P. Doom.
Remember all caps when you search
All
for the
caps
man's
when you
name,
spell the name, yeah. When you spell the man's name.
even on your Apple Music or Spotify.
Yeah. So
Type in.
yeah. Rest in
They
peace,
should edit
Doom.
it so it won't come up unless you put it in all caps.
Yeah, definitely. Alright. Well, R.I.P. Rest in peace, Doom. We lost probably one of the best MCs around. And yeah,
I think that's us done, is it not?
that is. Well, we'll see you all next time.
If Russia can really protect its population